Welcome to the Level Up Life podcast. I'm your host, Scottie Hobbs, where we're here to remind you that your family's your most important work, help you feel better, and learn how to earn more income for your family. I'm here with my friend Anngela. Anngela is originally from Southeast Idaho and started her career as an acrobat at 19 when she packed up her bags and moved to Oregon. She lived paycheck to paycheck, chasing her dream for the first 7 to 8 years before making a pivot in their performances. She now travels the world as a global, well-sought-after acrobat, performing for companies like Google and doing incredible NBA halftime shows. Anngela, welcome to the show.
I'm Anngela Burt. So I'm from Idaho actually, but I have lived in Portland for the last probably 12 or 13 years, and I am a professional acrobat.
That's incredible. So
Yeah.
when I learned that, we were at a dance competition for my daughter, and you were there with
Yep.
your niece and your
Yep.
sister, right? And
Yeah.
Mila, my daughter's like, her aunt is an acrobat, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like just thinking you did like some little acrobatic tricks, because my daughter does like gymnastics and some acro
Totally.
classes, and so that's what I thought. And then we got to the hotel room later, and she showed me a video, and you were like at an MBA. I was like, what is this? This is crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's hard to really explain to people what I do because kind of like you said, it's like, oh yeah, she does acrobatics, but it's like that could kind of mean anything.
yeah.
And I kind of do it to the extreme, I guess you could
Yeah, I
say.
would say it is extreme. You were like touching the Jumbotron, I think, on one of them.
Yeah, we did hit the Jumbotron once. That's only happened once, surprisingly. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah. So I'm curious, how did you like when did that start for you? Like when did you start doing acrobatic work and when did you figure out
Yeah.
like how did that whole path happen? It's
How do you get in? How does one run away and join the circus, right?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I get asked it all the time. Kind of the short-ish answer of it is, so I did ballroom dance is my background. I did that for like 7 years when I was
Okay.
younger. And then I went into cheerleading, which cheerleading kind of, translated over to acrobatics pretty easily. And I did that for 5 years. And then, yeah, I graduated high school and I was feeling a bit lost in life, to be honest with you. All my friends went off to college and I just didn't really know what to do in life at that point. And I kind of struggled in school. I was never really like book smart, I
Yeah.
struggled in school. It wasn't my favorite. So I was like, I don't even know what to go to college for. I feel like I'd be wasting my time and my money. So yeah, so I started a job as a waitress at a Chinese restaurant,
Cool.
Canton, actually in Idle Falls, if you've been there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so yeah, I was kind of working there for a bit and was, like I said, feeling pretty lost in life. And then there was a circus that came through Idaho Falls, our hometown, and I went and saw the show. And after the show, I was able to meet all the performers. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I could do this. I'm the flyer in cheer. And so I was the tiny one getting tossed up and doing all the backflips and stuff. And didn't really have a fear for heights or anything like that. So I was like, I think I could do something like this. This is cool. I didn't even know you could do something like that. So then I followed them all on Facebook because Facebook was the cool thing back then.
Yeah.
And and I followed them all on Facebook and I was like asking them all these questions like, how did you get into it? How could I get into it? And they all kind of just told me everyone's got their own journey, their own path to get into circus. So it was like kind of helpful, but not really. I was like, okay, thanks. Anyways, one of the guys who, after the show, he threw me up in a couple stunts because I told him I was like a cheerleader. I've done a little bit of acro. And so he put me in some tricks and stuff. And I flew very well with him. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And got his Facebook info. And then, they left. And probably about 2 months later, maybe, I saw that he posted on Facebook that him and his girlfriend broke up, who was also his acro partner. So now he didn't have a girlfriend or an acro partner, which I wasn't trying to be his girlfriend. But I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
maybe I could be his acro partner. So on his Facebook post though, he like seriously had like hundreds of comments of so and so would be awesome or I'm interested, blah blah blah. I was like, oh my gosh, he's not even gonna even remember me. So sent him like a personal DM and I was like, okay, let's just shoot my shot. And I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm, the tiny blonde girl from Idaho that I met you on tour when you came through my hometown. I was like, I would be interested in being your acro partner if you want, and then I like sent it and I'm like, hey, all right, we'll see what happens. And a few days later, he messaged me back and he's like, sure, move to Portland, I'll train you. Like it was so short. Like he was just like, yeah, sure. And I was like, really? Like, I'm about to literally pack my entire car up and go move to Portland. And like, I don't have any family in Portland. I had no
Yeah.
friends at that point. I didn't know anyone. Like, I just graduated high school.
Yeah.
So,
How old are you then at this point?
so I'm like 19, I think.
Okay.
But yeah. So I literally, like a few months later, after he said to move to Portland, I was like, hey, I'm going to take this leap of faith. And I packed up my little Mazda of everything I owned as a teenager and I quit my job and I moved to Portland without knowing a single person. And yeah, I've been doing it ever since. And that was like 12 or 13 years ago.
Wow,
So,
that's incredible. So
yeah.
I think about a couple of things when you say it. Like my oldest daughter's 19, so I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
scary. Some
Hmm.
run off to the circus. So what did your friends and family think when you're like, I'm going to Portland to be an
Yeah.
acrobat?
Um, you know, most of it was not supportive, but looking back on it, I understand now and I
Yeah.
don't hold it against anybody, but like honestly, like my friends and my family were telling me not to go because they're just like you're never going to be able to make a living out of this. You're going to be living paycheck to paycheck. You're not even going to be able to I remember my aunt was like you're not even be able to afford to go to the movie theater anymore. Just like they were just like painting this picture and I was just like man, like I don't know, and it kind of lit a fire in my ass to want to do it even more and prove
Yeah.
everybody wrong. And so yeah, not too much support back then, to be honest.
Yeah.
And now people have come around, and obviously, like now that I'm like successful in it, like I've had family members apologize and be like, sorry, didn't believe in you. I just didn't think someone could do this as a living, and
Yeah.
so they've come around.
Yeah, I've seen that all the time. It's a lot of time. It's not out of malice. They usually just want to
No,
protect you, but it's from their
exactly.
own frame of mind and their own personal life experiences. They never seen anything like that. So,
Yep.
and that could be with any business or
Anything. Yeah.
sport or anything. So, yeah, I've had friends come back to me from in the past to me like, hey, the one specific one was funny. When I first started business, I know you don't know this part about us, but
Yeah.
Gabby worked nights at the Hilton Garden Inn, and I worked
Okay.
at Idaho Steel Products, and I did 12-hour days for 5 years, our first 5 years of marriage.
Yep.
And so we would drop our two little girls. Mila was one of them, and Kina at the babysitter. And it was my friend from high school. His wife would watch them, and he owns a business.
Yeah.
And so, like, he knew that we were working so much, like 12-hour days and her working and watching our kids. Well, I started an online business with health and fitness and supplements.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but a year later, I had left my wife was able to leave her job and I left my job and I was doing it full time back in 2012.
Wow.
And he came over, he's like, hey, can I come over and talk to you? And I was like, sure. He came over, he's like, man, he's like, I have to apologize. Like, I told like all of our friends from high school, like, if Scottie sends you a message on Facebook, don't just ignore it. He's trying to get ahead in life. He's trying to sell some stuff.
That
And
is.
I was like, you did that? And he's like, I had no idea. But it's like, you never know how people respond when you go after like your own goals and dreams and stuff.
People just don't understand it, and they're afraid to go after their own dreams and goals, to be honest. I think that's where a lot of it can stem from too.
Yeah, like a mirror of their own insecurities or things
Yeah.
that where they failed before and maybe they're trying to protect. So
Yeah.
you've been doing it for 12 or 13 years now. So you went out there, so you
Yeah.
were first an acrobat in like a traveling circus, is that what it was? Or what
Um,
exactly did you do when you got out there? Like what did that look like?
yeah, so I immediately kind of hit the road pretty much. I mean, I went to Portland. I think I trained there for a week and then I did my first like paid professional show. It was in a bar, but I was not 21, so they literally had to like escort me to the stage, and I performed. And the second I was done performing, they escorted me back to the green room and then kicked me out. So I did that for like until I turned 21, pretty much, and then yeah, then we hopped on a it goes tiny like, bus, and we would tour around the country and do shows all over the place. I mean, at that point, mostly it was like kind of like in the area of like Montana and and Idaho, and
Yeah.
so it was like nothing too crazy. So starting out, yeah, it was kind of on like smaller, and my family was kind of right. Like I was living paycheck to paycheck for a while, and uh, got to a point where I even couldn't even afford rent and got kicked out of my apartment that I moved into and was couch surfing for a while. And yeah, that was hard. And I just still, I don't know what it was. I didn't give up. I was just like, there's something to this. And I just could feel it. I couldn't explain it to anyone because everyone's like, okay, I think it's time to come home. Like, you did it for a
Yeah.
couple years. You tried. Good job. And I was just like, I'm not done yet. I'm
Yeah.
not done. There's more for me. And there was like fast forward now. I mean, I would say I didn't really hit big success until about probably like 4 or 5 years ago. So the first 7 or 8 years I was grinding pretty hard, and like I said, living paycheck to paycheck, and couldn't afford rent. And so
Yeah. I think
yeah.
a lot of people in a business are going after their dreams, like, 6, 7 years and you're still struggling. That's kind of when, they give up. They're like,
Yeah.
kind of listen to the
Sounds
naysayers or the critics.
Yeah.
And
And
then
it's exhausting too, It's just like you're like, how much more can I do this? And it does weigh on you heavily for sure.
yeah. What do you think made you persevere through that point where you're like, I know you're part of you is like, there's something here, but like
Yeah.
what do you think about
Yeah.
you or your personality or what you believed made you push through that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit of a firecracker. I have always kind of been the black sheep of the family, to be honest. But yeah, there's a kind of going back to saying like I can't quite explain it to people, and I don't know really what it was, but it was this feeling deep down that I knew I wasn't done, and I couldn't explain it to anyone. I couldn't even explain it to myself. B, I loved what I was doing. I absolutely loved it. I was getting paid, even if it wasn't a lot. I was getting
Mhm.
paid to travel. I was getting paid to see the world. I grew up in this tiny hometown where we like barely went to California and back. That was like our big vacation in like 10 years. Like I didn't really leave my hometown much. I didn't really know anything about the world, to be honest. And so, yeah, it was cool to like just go around, see all the different cities and meet new people all over the place. And then as I started to get a little more and more successful, it started like we started doing tours in Canada, and then we started going to the East Coast, and we were in New York. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never been in New York before. This is so cool. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of addicting in a way too. Just like I feel like I'm very adventurous and I'm very stubborn. I don't like to give up.
I
So
think stubborn is a great trait for entrepreneurs and people who want to do their own thing. Um, like the second thing you said, I was like, there it is right there. That's why she didn't give up, is you loved it.
I
You
did,
loved
and
what you
I
were doing.
do. I still do.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things that man, like one of the reasons I work so hard in my business and to build like assets and stuff to provide opportunities for my kids and my
Mhm.
family
Yeah.
is like the biggest mistake I made. I hated school also. Like I went to BYU Idaho, Rick's college at the time,
Yep. Yep.
and I was like, my cousin was a dental lab technician, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be, and he made like six figures, and that was like 2002 or three, and I was like, that was good
Yeah.
back then. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be an orthodontist. I just like chose that because they're trying to like
Yeah.
force you in school, like choose your career path. I'm like, I'm
Yes.
gonna be
So
an
early
orth.
on.
Yeah, and I was like, an orthodontist. So I went there and I got like a point, like 7.4 grade point average because all I did was play my guitar, skate, and go snowboarding at Grand Targhee.
Yep.
And so I failed out, and then I came back the next year and I brought it back up, but I never graduated. I ended up leaving, and I wasted so much time and money. And so like with my kids, I'm like, I work so hard because I want to provide like assets and stuff for them where I can help provide for them and they can go do what they love. Like
Yeah.
with Mila, for example, I'm like, man, if you want to teach dance and it doesn't pay very much, like I want to make sure that we've got you set up with like a rental home that's paid for that you can manage like
That
on
is
your
so
own
sweet.
and go teach dance or something. So you don't have to worry about money and do what you love.
Yeah. That makes me want to
So
cry. That's so sweet. Like I
yeah.
love how supportive you are in that. Like that's huge.
Yeah, and it's just like you just want to kind of help things be better for them. And but the most
Yeah.
important thing is that they do what they love. And
Yeah.
because like I didn't love any job that I had ever
Yeah.
until I started my own business, I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Now, like what's one of the hardest challenges? Because we've talked about like you started this, you were prepared for your opportunity when it came up. And one thing that I love, let's talk about that for a minute. Like you shot your shot, and I love that. Like
Uh-huh.
you intentionally went, made friends with them, asked them questions. How do you get into
Yeah.
that? And so if you're out there like listening to this, like if you have a desire to do something, go ask. Don't just sit around. Go take action towards that.
Exactly.
But you were prepared when that opportunity came. Like
Yeah.
you spent years doing that type of stuff. And so like let's
It
talk
was a
about
leap
that's
of
all.
faith, you know, it
Yeah.
was a leap of faith. I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know if I'd go to Portland for a month and be like, okay, this is
Uh
all, and end up back home, you know, with my tail in between my legs. Like,
yeah. And the cool thing, I think it's important for people to know too, like that choice you were successful, let's say. It took 7 years or so to get to
yeah,
where you wanted to be.
yeah,
But let's say like it would have been the worst opportunity and like you didn't ever make any money and you like or there's bad people around and something you shouldn't be around and you decide to come home.
yeah,
Like people would think of that and be like, "Oh, she failed," or even you could be like, "Oh, I failed,"
yeah,
and you could possibly give up. But
yeah.
I think about it like I'm 45 this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And like even if like I started a new business like 15 months ago, and it was like people are like, what if it like doesn't work? And I'm like, who cares? Like
Yeah,
I still got like 27 years of a typical normal working life
yeah,
ahead of me.
yeah,
So
exactly.
you just
And at
come
least you
back and you
try too, because you
yeah,
don't know like life is so weird like that. You just never know what's gonna stick. And sometimes it is a fail, but maybe it's a fail in a way where it's gonna lead you to the next thing.
yeah, absolutely. Take those failures, learn from them, or it might be leading you into the next thing that might even be better.
Yeah.
So let's talk about so you like 8, 7, 8 years in, you start to see more success. You're traveling more.
Yep.
Um, what does that like? What does that look like? What do you go do now? Like I know we kind of mentioned at the
Yeah.
beginning, but what do you do for your acrobatic shows?
Yeah, totally. I guess I didn't really explain what I actually do because saying that I'm a professional acrobat is pretty vague.
Yeah.
So what I started out in was partner acro, which is kind of exactly what it sounds like. My acro partner and I did partner stunting. You could think of it as like cheerleading, right?
Okay.
Partner stunting. That's where we started off. And that um, department is very competitive. We are up against like the Russian acrobats, Chinese acrobats. Like these guys have been doing it since they were literally babies. Like the second they're born, they're training. And it's just like, it's really hard to compete with that. So we were like not getting really good gigs. Like, we couldn't really get anything outside of Oregon much. And so that's kind of what we did for the first 8 years. And it was a grind. And it did get to a point where I was just like, it was exhausting. And I was like, put my body through hell and I was just like, is this worth it? Then we discovered something on YouTube called perch pull. So Perch, perch.
Okay.
Um, and the best way I can describe it, which you now have seen it, but
Yes.
when I describe it to people who don't know what I'm talking about, my acro base balances a 17-foot pole on his head, like kind of like forehead area, free balances it. And then I climb up the pole and I do like pole tricks. I do hand balancing up there. I do myself head balancing, free balancing, like crazy, crazy stuff. So I'm about like 30 feet in the air. Hence that we've hit jumbotrons in the NBA courts. And no safety lines, no mats, because the NBA actually doesn't really have safety lines. It's just more work and money for them. So
Yeah.
they like plug and play. So, anyways, yeah. So that's what I do. Is it's 30 feet in the air, no safety lines. I'm literally risking my life every single time I go up there to perform, and I have to be perfect every time. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, which is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I do. And it takes me all over the world. I do the NBA, WNBA. I've done even NHL half times. We did the NBA flew us out for the global games in Abu Dhabi 2 years ago. So
Oh,
they flew us
wow.
out to Abu Dhabi for 5 days. And
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So and then we also do it's not just NBA stuff. We do like kind of like dinner theater shows, which was what we did in Germany for 2.5 months.
Cool.
And we do like festivals. We're about to do a wedding next week. It's kind of anything and everything, like corporate work. We've done private events for Google. We've done private, so it's kind of anything and everything, really.
That's incredible. Like to see where you started, how long you struggled, and how
Yeah.
much you put yourself through. And to be up there 30 feet without a safety line, that's crazy to me. Have you ever had a
Yeah.
really bad fall?
So I tell people I'm not allowed to fall, because I'm not. And honestly, if I did, I don't know if I would be here. That's kind
30
of the
feet to
truth.
a, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm upside down, So with no mats. But in the beginning stages of us learning this perch discipline that we saw on YouTube and are self-taught and literally taught it to ourselves, we in the first like 2 years we would perform with safety lines always. Like we would
Mhm.
never hit the stage without safety lines, which for obvious reasons we were new to it and all the things. And there was one performance where it was at the end of the act and he puts it up on his head. I climb up there and I go into my handstand. And so I'm upside down and it's on his head and he goes hands free. And, at that point, like I said, we're kind of newer to it. His technique was not what it is now. And it just kind of slipped off his head. And I'm upside down in a handstand in front of a live audience. And so I fell upside down a couple feet. The safety line caught me, made
Oh,
me go kind of right side up, like a lot of like pressure on my rib cage, which took me out for like probably like 2 weeks because I don't know what I did to my rib cage, but something. And yeah, and it was really it was terrifying and scary, but it was also like really embarrassing too. And it's like as a performer, I never want to like scare an audience like that. Yes, it's
mhm.
our jobs to like make them a little nervous, but show them that we're in control. Like I'm never, and that like there's a video of it that I don't know why, but I'll watch it from time to time. And you can hear like the gasp in the crowd of like, and not in a good way. Like it's like people are genuinely like we're scared, and it's yeah. And so that happened, and then I came down, and then my acro partner John goes, um, we can't end like that. He's like, we got to go up and do it again. And at that point, I have adrenaline. I'm like, like, okay, I think I can do this. And I did. I climbed back up there, and we did it again and got our redemption, and then came down and professional did the bow and walked off. And then I just like kept walking through the green room outside, closed the door, and just like started bawling because it was just like, yeah, it was just like all the emotions. Ever since then, that has not happened. That was kind of a one-time thing. There's been close calls, yes,
Yeah.
but nothing to that extent. So,
That's incredibly courageous after that fall to go back up. Like even to go back up
yeah,
in a week or 2 weeks, but to go back up like right then is,
immediately, yeah. Yeah, and
man.
then I mean, I was even pumped like more like full of like adrenaline, and
Yeah.
so which adrenaline makes you shaky, and it's like I've learned how to kind of control adrenaline at this point in my life, but like back then, like if you don't know how to control adrenaline, it can really affect, it can make you weaker. It can make, obviously the skill shaky, all the things. So yeah, so it was interesting. And that kind of lives in my head forever.
In there forever. I love that you say I'm not allowed to fall. Like
Yeah.
you set your standard
Yeah,
of like
I'm not
I
allowed to
can't
fall.
fall. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what I got to tell myself anyways, because, I don't talk to a whole lot of people about this because it's like people want to just like tell you good job and think like what I do is awesome and keep it light. And I keep it light. But like the reality for me is that, yeah, it is kind of, it can be a little morbid that like if I mess up, like it's bad. Like it's not going to be good.
Yeah. There's not many sports or jobs in the world where someone loves what they do that one small slip could
Yeah.
be very bad.
Right, which and
So
then,
it's,
I get a lot of backlash even on social media of like posts that will go viral, people being like, "Why would you even risk your life?" I've had like comments be like, "Your family must be so disappointed in you because you like risk your life." And and like it's the comments are never ending. But like I don't know, it's hard to explain to people. I seriously I love what I do and I couldn't even picture myself doing anything else. Like it's just
you don't want
it
to be a
makes me
waitress?
so happy. No, I don't want to go back to waitress. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just such a fun lifestyle and obviously it's not all glamorous, but it's like I love it. I love what I do. It makes me so happy. And my job is my workout too and it keeps me really healthy, keeps me, like really focused and motivated and so
Yeah. So you're definitely what I would call a very, very elite athlete in what you do.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what is your regimen like? What do you like? What things do you focus on to stay like at that level? Because it's not
Yeah,
just body and strength. It's got to be your mind. It's got to be everything. So
for sure.
what do you do? What habits and rituals do you do?
Yeah, I mean well, the physical side of it is pretty simple. I train probably like 5 to 6 days a week if I can. Obviously, if I'm traveling a lot for gigs, it takes a backseat, and that's
Mhm.
fine. So that's kind of the physical side of it. Um, the mental side of it, yeah, I think maybe I'm still finessing that and working on that, to be honest, because I'm not much of a meditator. Like I've tried to meditate and I don't know, I think I have a little bit of ADD, so I think sometimes it's hard for me to uh yeah, I don't know, find the calm, I guess. But what I will say is like when I'm working on my own kind of like personal stuff like head balancing, I don't know if you've really seen like my posts, but I work on my own like head balancing on the ground, free balancing, and it takes a lot of focus and a lot of like technical skill. And that to me is like kind of where like my brain is calm and I'm like super hyper focused. And I do find
Mhm.
this like, yeah, I don't know. I got to do things that make me happy and excite me and challenge me. And that to me kind of keeps me mentally stimulated. And then when I get overstimulated, which is definitely a thing, um, yeah, I kind of just need to not see people for like a couple days and like put my phone on do not disturb and like I don't want to talk to anybody and then I'll um actually I sew all my costumes. My mom taught me how to sew at a young age. So I
Oh,
sew all
cool.
my costumes. So that's actually a really good creative outlet for me too, is I'll just go lock myself in my sewing room for like 8+ hours and just sew for hours and hours. And that's like my creative outlet. So
That's cool. Yeah, you say you don't really meditate because it's just how your brain is, but like
yeah.
balancing on your head and focusing that, I mean, that's a form of meditation.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not what like your average meditation would look like, I guess.
Yeah. I think we're similar in a couple ways. So I built a business where I built a team of 45,000 salespeople across the world.
Wow.
And we did like 8 million a month in sales of like supplements.
Yeah.
And I'm naturally very introverted. Like when I was a
Yeah.
kid, I met my wife at Warped Tour. I played guitar
Oh,
and she promoted
cool.
for a venue. And so like I got good at guitar or snowboarding or anything that I do because
Yeah.
like I could just go sit down, lock myself in my room and just be alone and just work on something.
Yep.
And so, like, I mean, that's how I built the business that I built over the past 15 years. But it's funny because it's like so many people that I lead and train. Like, I'm doing a podcast with you. I'm like
Yeah.
training salespeople tonight. and I'm
Yep.
on phone calls, in the day with people, and I'm helping them overcome. We're building a business, but a lot of the things that block them in their business are personal things in their own mindset and belief and habit. So like I feel like a therapist often.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
so
can see that.
like every single day, even for like 15 years, I nap like right after podcast is done. Like I'm gonna go lock myself in my room and put some ocean waves on, and I'm gonna go to sleep for
Yes.
like an hour.
You earned it.
I just need to be alone because I'm naturally
Yeah.
introverted, but I love
Yeah.
being
Me too,
creative
actually.
and building businesses. So I love that you got to lock
Mhm.
yourself in your room and go do stuff. So there's,
Yeah. I think it's
there's
important.
yeah. So I got another question for you.
Yeah.
What hardship in your life taught you the most? Like what challenge or hardship have you gone through that taught you the most? Like what's a
Um,
lesson that you learned?
Yeah, the first thing that immediately comes to my mind, I mean, I think if I put more deep thought into it, maybe I'd have a different answer, but the
Yeah.
immediate answer that pops into my head is, um, we didn't really like come from money. I grew up in like a trailer house, and I've had to work my butt off for anything and everything that if I wanted my own cell phone, I had to buy my own cell phone if and at like
Mhm.
17 years old. And um, yeah, I just feel like I've had to work twice as hard as a lot of people. Also in the way of like I was not born flexible, like not really at all. And a lot of people are kind of surprised by that of like for what I do, but and that is like a big factor obviously for what I do and insecurity of mine. And so it's just to even get my splits, I had to work twice as hard as everyone else who just was like born flexible and they just like could do all their splits. And it's just like it seems so like simple, but now in like the long path of what I do for a living is just like, yeah, it's I just feel like I've had to work so hard to prove myself. And there's even been times where we would get an offer for a gig, and um the directors will be like, well, ask my acro partner if he would be willing to work with somebody else who's more flexible and has really beautiful lines, and a contortionist who can bend in half and put their feet to their head, and that's actually happened to me multiple times throughout my career. And which shout out to my acro partner, he actually has really stood by me and been like, no, I really think that I should be working with a person who I've spent a lot of time with and
Yeah.
built skills with. But yeah, just not feeling good enough. It's hard, and it's stuff that like a lot of people maybe don't talk about, but it's so real, especially like with social media where you're like not only like beauty standards, like that's a given, but like even in the circus world, like I said, I'm like up against like fifth generation circus. Like people have been doing it for like 5 generations and like passing it down to their kids. And so they're incredible. They're like literally like robots. And then I'm like, yeah, I started at 20 years old and not near as flexible as all of you. And I'm, like so I just feel like I've had to work really, really hard to get the success that I have had, and it's never ending. It feels never ending, and that's daunting.
Feels daunting. Well, remember,
Yeah.
comparison is the thief of joy. You got to remember
Yeah.
that. And
True.
then you've got to be incredibly proud of yourself, though, from coming where you came from and living an
Absolutely.
extraordinary life like you do,
Yeah,
getting to do
I've
what you
definitely come a
love.
long ways for sure, and I am proud of myself. All that being said, I am truly proud of myself for how far I've come, and it's been a lot of work. But yeah, it's hard. It's only natural.
Yeah, that was one of my natural driving forces too. That I had to work through a lot with we've been married for 20 years, but
Yeah.
never
Wow.
feeling like I'm good enough. That was kind of like my thing. And I have great
Yeah.
parents, so I don't even know where that came from. Like
Yeah.
my parents
Yeah.
like taught me so many good things and habits,
Yeah.
and like I wanted to go to this big thing back east when I was like 17. And my parents are like, so they always provided me the opportunities like, well, you can go, but you got to earn the money. And then they helped me come up with ideas. So they taught me how to
Yeah.
work hard from early on. So I don't
Love
know
that.
where I never felt like I was good enough type of thing. But even some days, like if my spouse and I get into it a little bit, it still even comes back to that. And I'm like, dang it, I thought I figured that out. I'm 45. Like,
Totally.
why am I
It
still
sneaks
getting,
it sneaks back in every once in a while.
yeah, like I do a lot with the kids or whatever, and then I
Yeah.
do the dishes and one's dirty or something, and she'll be like, "Who washed these?" And I'll like act like one of the kids and be like, and I'm like, Why did that trigger me? I'm like 45 years old and I don't know. So we all have things that we
Totally.
have to
We're
work
all
on.
human.
And
We've all got our things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got let's go kind of one last question. Like,
Sure.
let's say someone that is out there and they want to go after their dreams, whatever. Maybe they want to be in a band or they want to
Yeah.
go into acrobats or they want to be a professional football player, whatever it is. Like, what
Yeah.
advice would you give that person? Like, from where you came to getting there, like what if you're sitting across the table from them, what do you tell
Yeah.
them?
Man, I mean, I feel like this is like so cliche, but I truly, truly believe, and with my own personal experience, I like if you seriously just don't give up, I something is bound to eventually happen for you, you know? Like if you just keep grinding, keep putting the work in, keep showing up for yourself, I truly believe that something will come from it. I really do. And maybe it's not what you envision, but something will come from it. And I feel like I'm literally the proof of that, you know, of
Yeah.
even 7 years of grinding, living paycheck to paycheck and couch surfing. I was just like, if I don't give up, like something's bound to happen. And now I'm like getting paid very well, and I'm literally getting paid to see the world, not just the US. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like now I'm an international professional acrobat. Just that coming out of my mouth,
Like 5 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, right.
you know, but like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just think it's you put the time and energy in, you're gonna get something out of it.
Yeah. One conversation I have consistently with I'm helping this guy build this natural peptide company, and we did
Hmm.
100 million in the first year. We started 15
Yeah.
months
Wow.
ago. And one thing that
Wow.
he keeps saying to me and to everybody that we're mentoring and teaching is like, if you just like do the daily things, like you show up, like your success is inevitable if you don't quit. Like if you surround yourself with the others that are driven,
That
hardworking,
part.
and
Yeah.
you just don't like if you don't quit and you just show up and take steps every single day, your success is inevitable. Someone might get there, whatever, and that's another thing. Success is different for each person.
Right.
Right. But like somebody might get there in 2 years, somebody might get there in 15. But if you keep moving forward, it's
Yeah.
your success is inevitable. And so you are
Yeah.
a great proof of like example of that in your life and what you've done. So that's
You.
absolutely incredible.
Thanks. I really
Appreciate that.
I love that. Well, it's been awesome chatting with you today, Angela.
Yeah,
I'm
you
super excited to
too.
share this. How can people find you? Where do they find two things? Where
Yeah.
do they find you just to see your awesome stuff? And then how do
Yeah.
people book you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it's kind of crazy. A lot of bookings do come from social media, so I guess I could just give you my social
Yeah.
media handle. Our acro partner or acro duo is dauntless.duo.
Okay.
And that's on Instagram, and our email is connected to that too, and dauntlessduobooking@gmail. But yeah, you can pretty much find us there and see all the crazy stuff that we're up to. And we're
Get to
always up to new things too. We're always creating new things. That's what keeps it interesting.
That's so fun. Yeah, when I first found out about it, like I don't scroll on like I don't binge on social media, but I was like just watching them all. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is awesome. So go check out her stuff. Either way, you're gonna love it. So
Thanks,
awesome.
Scottie.
Thank you for joining us on this episode with Angela. We hope that you enjoyed the conversation that we shared with you today. We're here to remind you that your family is your most important work on earth. Help you feel better and learn how to earn more income for your family. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a positive review, clip what you like, or share it with a friend. My friend, it's time to level up.